Welcome to BC Storytime, I'm Ben. Today, let's dive into the Russian version of the Ripper story. We have a seemingly kind and gentle old lady who, due to her cold heart, exceptional acting skills, and brutal modus operandi, earned the nickname Granny Ripper from many Russians. Some also call her Baba Yaga, a flesh-eating witch from Slavic folklore. So, who is this seemingly harmless old lady that combines the traits of Jack the Ripper and Baba Yaga? She is the protagonist of our current story, Tamara Samsonova. Our story unfolds in St. Petersburg, a city located in the northwest of Russia, near the Gulf of Finland. Founded by Peter the Great in 1703, St. Petersburg served as the capital of the Russian Empire for over 200 years. After World War I, in memory of Lenin, the city was renamed Leningrad, a title it held until the dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991, when it reverted to its original name. Today, St. Petersburg stands as a crucial port and military base on the Baltic Sea, a cultural and economic hub, attracting over 5 million residents. In an unexpected turn of events, a case in 2015 once again brought attention to the city. On July 26, a Sunday, a young couple walking their dog near a pond witnessed an unusual event. Their pet darted into the bushes, and despite their efforts, they couldn't pull it back. Intrigued, the couple decided to follow the dog to see what was going on. The dog circled around what looked like a damp shower curtain. A strange, sour odor emanated from it. Carefully opening the curtain, they discovered a torso, limbless and headless. Horrified, they immediately called the police. Upon arrival, the police identified the torso as belonging to an elderly woman. However, due to the incomplete state of the body, her identity remained uncertain. To find this unidentified victim, the police initiated a door-to-door search and interviews in the neighborhood. They questioned neighbors on nearby streets, asking if any elderly woman had gone missing recently or if anyone noticed suspicious activities. Soon, a resident reported seeing someone dumping trash in the area in the early hours of the morning a few days ago. The resident also mentioned that Valentina Ulanova, an elderly woman, hadn't been seen for several days. The police, following this lead, arrived at the apartment where the elderly Valentina lived. To their surprise, when they knocked on the door, it wasn't Valentina who answered but our protagonist for this episode, Tamara Samsonova, a 68-year-old woman. Faced with police inquiries, Tamara claimed to be friends with Valentina, stating they had been living together for over 4 months. However, Valentina had not returned home in the past few days after going out. When asked if the police could inspect the apartment, Tamara readily agreed. Despite the clutter inside the apartment, the police quickly noticed the absence of the shower curtain in the bathroom, along with splatters of blood on the walls. Confronted by the police, Tamara didn't conceal the truth, admitting that she had killed Valentina. She claimed it was an act of self-defense, stating that Valentina had attacked her on that day, and in the struggle, she accidentally killed Valentina. However, during interrogation at the police station, Tamara provided another version of the story. She mentioned that before moving in together, she used to live alone. Due to the deteriorating condition of her apartment, the building management began renovations 4 months ago. Forced to vacate her place temporarily, Tamara, through a friend's introduction, met 79-year-old Valentina. Valentina, living alone on the same street, agreed to let Tamara move in rent-free, provided Tamara took care of her in daily life due to Valentina's old age and health issues. Tamara agreed, and soon after, she moved in. In the following days, disagreements between the two escalated, leading to frequent arguments over trivial matters. On several occasions, during intense arguments, Valentina asked Tamara to leave immediately, stating she couldn't tolerate living with her. However, Tamara always found various reasons to refuse to leave. After 4 months of cohabitation, another heated argument erupted between Tamara and Valentina, this time over who should do the dishes. The dispute escalated to the point where neither was willing to compromise, and Valentina once again demanded that Tamara leave her home. Fearing she would be left homeless, Tamara made a firm decision to seize an opportunity and expedite Valentina's journey to meet her maker. On July 24th, 2 days before the couple discovered Valentina, Tamara visited a nearby pharmacy. Through cunning manipulation, she managed to buy a box of phenazepam, a drug used to treat mental disorders with pain-relieving and calming effects. On her way back, Tamara also stopped by a supermarket and purchased Valentina's favorite Russian salad. Upon returning home, Tamara crushed the entire box of pills, approximately 50 capsules, and mixed them into the salad. Whether Tamara added plenty of seasonings to mask the drug's taste or Valentina's taste buds had diminished, she ingested the entire salad during dinner without noticing anything amiss. Around 2 a.m. the next day, Tamara got up to check on Valentina. After turning on the lights, she saw 79-year-old Valentina lying motionless on the living room floor. However, Valentina still had a faint breath. After consuming a large amount of medication, she was in a deep sedated state. Subsequently, in a horrifying turn of events, Tamara entered the kitchen, fetched 2 knives, and retrieved a steel saw borrowed from a neighbor. Like a skilled carpenter, she began dismembering Valentina. After breaking Valentina down into several large pieces, Tamara took out a stew pot and proceeded to cook Valentina's head and hands. Tamara claimed that she did this to destroy fingerprints and facial features through boiling, concealing the victim's identity. Initially skeptical, the questioning officers soon found evidence supporting Tamara's second version of events. They discovered this evidence through surveillance footage from the apartment building. The footage revealed that at 2:21 a.m. on July 25th, Tamara left the building carrying a large bag of garbage, which seemed heavy. 10 minutes later, she returned empty-handed. Soon after, she left again carrying another large bag of garbage. Tamara repeated this process 9 times, including one instance where she carried a stew pot directly outside, suggesting her household trash bags were insufficient. Now, what kind of non-threatening elderly lady experienced such a gruesome event in her 68-year-old life, and why did she commit such a brutal crime? To answer this question, let's rewind to 2 years after the end of World War II, specifically to 1947. Our protagonist, Tamara Samsonova, was born on February 5th in a small town named Uzur. After graduating from high school, Tamara enrolled in the Russian State University for the Humanities in Moscow, a rare feat for university students in the 1960s. After completing her university education, Tamara moved from Moscow to St. Petersburg, where she encountered her husband, Alexei Samsonov. In 1971, 24-year-old Tamara and her husband lived at 4 Dmitrova Street in St. Petersburg, a somewhat aged apartment building. Alexei worked at a local car repair plant, while Tamara, with her university diploma, quickly found a job at a travel company. Shortly afterward, she switched to the renowned Hotel Europe. In the 19th century, Hotel Europe was one of the most luxurious hotels in all of Europe, hosting celebrities like Tchaikovsky and Dostoevsky. This hotel still operates today, offering a chance to experience its historical charm. Tamara worked at Hotel Europe for a considerable time until she resigned at the age of 40. Later, Tamara began her retirement life, and everything seemed calm. However, in the year 2000, when Tamara was 53 years old, she went to the police to report her husband missing. Tamara told the police that her husband Alexei had been frequently quarreling with her lately and might have run off with his lover. After investigating for some time, the police found no trace of Alexei. Considering Tamara's 30-plus years of marriage, they did not initially suspect a connection between Tamara and her husband's disappearance, so the case was closed. Without her husband's companionship, the 53-year-old Tamara often felt very lonely and lacked a source of income. To address this, she decided to rent out a room in her apartment. This way, she could increase her income through rent and also have someone to talk to, alleviating her loneliness. In the summer of 2001, Tamara found a tenant named Vladimir. Over time, Tamara and Vladimir, who was a few years younger, developed a romantic relationship. However, the good times didn't last long. After a few months, the two had a big fight, and Vladimir moved out of Tamara's apartment. In 2003, Tamara found a new tenant, Sergei, who was 12 years younger than her at the age of 44. Despite the age difference, Tamara quickly entered into a romantic relationship with Sergei, just like before. However, after a heated argument, Sergei disappeared, and no one saw him again. Following this pattern, Tamara's apartment seemed to be under an invisible curse. Her tenants, mostly younger men, would mysteriously vanish after having intimate contact with her. No one knew where they went. Of course, I don't need to spell it out. You can probably guess the outcome for these tenants. Marina Krivenko, Tamara's neighbor, shared in a later interview with reporters that she had known Tamara for 15 years. She always found Tamara to be a peculiar woman. For instance, Tamara often went outside in a robe and barefoot, even in the cold winter. Additionally, Tamara would frequently tell others that daytime was dangerous, with people wanting to break into her house, so she believed the night was the safest time. This led her to adopt a nocturnal lifestyle, often going out for late-night snacks or walks alone in the wee hours. The most worrisome detail for Marina was the steel saw. The saw used in the incident was borrowed from Marina. I don't think Marina will ever reclaim it in her lifetime. Tamara's eccentric behavior persisted for over a decade until the Valentina incident in 2015 when she was finally apprehended. On July 29, 2015, just 2 days after Valentina's discovery by the pond, Tamara was brought to court. Faced with numerous cameras and questions from the media, Tamara not only showed no remorse for her crimes but seemed excited. She smiled, continuously blew kisses to the reporters, as if she were a celebrity being interviewed. Tamara said to the reporters, "I knew you would come, and I'm embarrassed. Now the whole city knows." During the hearing, Tamara not only openly admitted to killing Valentina but also voluntarily disclosed more shocking news. She had committed more than a dozen other crimes over the past 20 years. The Valentina case was her final crime. In court, Tamara said, "I've been preparing for this court trial for over 10 years. I deliberately committed these crimes. I can't go on anymore. After completing this final case, my criminal life will finally come to a grand conclusion." After the court hearing, the police took Tamara back to Valentina's apartment. There, with a plastic mannequin provided by the police, Tamara vividly reenacted the crime. She carefully explained how she borrowed a saw from a neighbor, drugged Valentina, and then cut the body into pieces, disposing of them in different locations. Following Tamara's clues, the police found some parts of Valentina's body and organs. Strangely, during forensic testing, Valentina's lungs were missing. Although Tamara did not admit to consuming them, subsequent evidence found in the crime scene apartment largely confirmed this suspicion. Valentina's apartment was chaotic, and the police discovered several books on astrology and black magic on the living room table. These books contained many chapters mentioning a frightening superstition: eat what you lack. Tamara, suffering from respiratory issues, might have been fascinated by the idea described in these books, especially focusing on the victim's lungs. Besides the black magic books, there was a notebook written by Tamara in 3 languages: English, Russian, and German. Upon inspection, the police found that Tamara's diary not only recorded some daily trivialities, but also detailed more than 10 murders she had committed. Tamara's earliest recorded crime dated back to 2003. In her diary, she wrote, "September 6, 2003, I killed my tenant Volodya. I cut him into pieces in the bathroom, put him in a trash bag, and then threw it near Frenzensky district." Though she didn't mention Volodya's surname, she provided detailed descriptions of his tattoos. When the police checked the archives for 2003, they indeed found a case involving a decapitated male body. The victim's tattoos matched those described in Tamara's diary. The crucial point that convinced the police Tamara was the killer was that in the bag containing the decapitated body found that year, there were a few pages torn from a book. In Valentina's home, a black magic book was discovered, missing several pages that, upon comparison, were confirmed to be torn from the same book. Due to the significant impact of this case on society, Russian authorities went as far as deploying special agents from the Federal Committee to aid the local police in their investigation. Think of it as Russia's version of the FBI. What they discovered among the victims was a disturbing pattern. They had all been dismembered, and in instances where bodies were found, the lungs were missing. As investigators delved into Tamara's social circle, a neighbor named Natalie disclosed that Tamara had a peculiar fascination with the infamous serial killer Andrei Chikatilo, nicknamed the Rostov Ripper, who terrorized for 12 years, claiming 53 lives. Tamara, in her conversations, expressed excitement about this deranged killer, considering him her idol. The consequence of this admiration manifested in Tamara's dismemberment methods closely resembling those of Andrei Chikatilo. Delving into Tamara's medical history, authorities found that she had been diagnosed with mental illness and involuntarily hospitalized 3 times. Despite Tamara admitting to 13 crimes, the police, after an extensive investigation, could only definitively link her to 11. Most victims were tenants in her apartment. Beyond these 11 confirmed murders, authorities strongly suspected Tamara's involvement in an additional 10 cases, including her husband Alexei, her mother-in-law, and even her own mother, individuals close to Tamara who mysteriously vanished. Tamara's friend Anna Catalina told the police that Tamara had confessed to killing her mother-in-law. When Anna urged her to surrender, Tamara responded with a sinister threat saying, "I'll cut you into pieces and feed you to the dogs. You better not anger me." Before the court determined Tamara's sentence, a comprehensive psychiatric evaluation revealed severe mental disorders and antisocial personality. During Tamara's sentencing hearing, when the judge asked her, "What kind of punishment do you think I should give you?" she responded with a smile, "You decide, Your Honor. After all, I am guilty and deserve to be punished." Ultimately, in December 2015, the judge ruled that Tamara was severely mentally ill and sentenced her to indefinite confinement in a psychiatric hospital. Upon hearing the verdict, Tamara clapped and smiled in court, expressing satisfaction with the judge's decision.
I have nowhere else to live. I'm a very old person, and I put the whole matter to rest deliberately. I have fought 77 times about it, and then decided that I must be in prison. I will die there, and the state will probably bury me.
Fast forward to 2023, and Tamara, aged 76, is still under confinement in a psychiatric hospital affiliated with the Kazan prison in Russia. The authorities are ongoing with their inquiries into the cases she might be connected to. The question of whether she indeed indulged in consuming the lungs of her victims remains unanswered, leaving room for the possibility, according to law enforcement. And with that, Tamara's narrative concludes. What's your take on this extraordinary Baba Yaga? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and, as always, take good care of yourselves. Until next time.